I think food. I'm excited to eat good food in a lot of different places. You know, that's one of my favorite things about being on tour here is just being able to eat the different cuisines, like in all the different places. Like Portland has a lot of great food. I've been enjoying it this week, and yeah, different like barbecue down in Texas or out in Kansas. You know, just seeing places specialties and.
Hey guys, Johnny Disc Golf here at the 2019 Beaver State Fling with coverage presented by the Next Generation Tour. I am standing here with 4th place finisher, Mr. James Conrad. How'd you enjoy it this year?
I had a great time this week at the Beaver State Fling. It's such a gorgeous place, it's hard to have a bad time.
Totally agree. This is my 4th time here. How many years have you been coming here?
Okay, this is only my 2nd year. Last year was my first time out to Oregon at all, so I've definitely enjoyed a chance to return and to spend some more time in this lovely state, get a couple more rounds on this gorgeous course.
Well, how'd you fare this year? I mentioned 4th place. Let's say, how'd you fare last year, and then how'd you fare this year? And is there any differences in your game, you think?
I don't remember exactly where I finished last year, but it wasn't terribly remarkable. Maybe somewhere in the 20s, so not. I know I made cash last year, which is saying something out here. This is a tough field to even cash in. It's pretty much all the top-rated players and not many people outside of that, and so definitely a big improvement this year. Part of that was just probably being a little more familiar with the course. You know, coming back a 2nd year, it takes less time learning the course. You can just kind of make sure your body's feeling good, make sure your head's in the right place. You don't have to worry about actually like learning all the holes over again. So that made it easier. And then we had really lovely weather this year. We were forecasted some rain on Friday, which everyone was kind of dreading, and then it ended up not really drizzling on us more than a few holes. And Saturday and Sunday were pretty much perfect conditions, which was definitely an improvement from last year. I'm somewhat of a fair weather golfer, so I think that helped me play well this weekend.
Yeah, we had a little conversation at Portland Open in one of my post-round interviews where you were saying that rain has really been like a deciding factor in a lot of these tournaments, especially this year.
Right.
Coming into the tournament, like you said, projected for rain. I guess, how do you feel like with the weather being so nice? Is it significant for you?
I think it really is. My game's like really heavily dependent on my footwork, getting like a solid run up and trusting my body. And then once it starts raining and you maybe slip once or twice, you try to slow down, just throws my timing off, and that rattles your confidence. It's kind of a snowball effect, and it's refreshing to play in some good weather all weekend and to trust the body and trust my footwork, to have everything working the way it's supposed to, and to be able to play well within those conditions.
Yeah, and you did play well. Great finish out here. You shot the hot round 3. That was really awesome. I came around for a little bit of that. Biggest question for me, though, as a professional disc golfer, what does it feel like to play 2 rounds in one day? A lot of us AMs, we know what that's like, right? A two round Saturday. But for the pros, it's different. How is that for you?
It definitely is different. It makes it a little hard to keep your normal like pre-round routine, to keep your just what we're used to doing is not that. Like I like to eat about an hour and a half before my round and get to the course about an hour before the round, give me time to just loosen up and get a few putts in and get out there. And I was able to do that in the morning, and I felt like I shot pretty well. And then in the afternoon, pretty much right after my round, I had lunch stuff, so I didn't have to go anywhere. I made lunch in the van and chilled, and then it ended up being after lunch probably still close to 2 hours before my round, and just that much downtime just I don't know, just kind of threw me off my rhythm a little bit. I only shot 3 down the 2nd round, which dropped me pretty far down the standings. Had to really climb back from that. It's something that we're not used to dealing with, and it's not my favorite aspect of this tournament by any means. It'd be nice to just see us start on Thursday if we wanted to play 2 rounds on each, just to keep it a little more consistent with the rest of the tour. But it's something we all had to deal with. It's just another mental battle. That's what golf is full of, is facing adversity and trying to come out on top, like not let it work you. And I could have done a better job of that on Friday afternoon for sure, and certain people did. And yeah, you
can see them on top. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
There has been grumblings. I kind of end up in the editing booth on site, so I'm kind of like overhearing a lot of the TD stuff. There are grumblings about going to 4 rounds or 3 rounds tee times next year.
Okay.
Is that are you looking forward to that? I've heard people say that it's not a terrible thing to have one tournament test your stamina.
Right.
You would look forward to that, though?
I would. Yeah, I think I would look forward to it. I mean, there's something to be said for the stamina side of it. Like we're athletes, we should be able to perform for 8 hours in a day, not just 3 or 4 if needed. And but it's just something different, and I don't know, being part of the NT, it's kind of weird to have all the NTs kind of be structured one way and then to have this one be different. Yeah, I'm slightly indifferent. Like if they can keep the format they have, then I'll try to make the most of it. But I think I would prefer to see it follow a more standard format, maybe a AM weekend and then a pro weekend or something along those lines.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of tournaments. There already has been a lot of tournaments moved to that, but going the forward, that really feels like it's the appropriate way to do it. There are 2 courses out here, so you played 2 rounds on each, 2 years now. What's your favorite, East or West? Tell me.
Oh, it's tough. I think I probably prefer the East course. I'm not a hugest fan of the starting little birdie loop. Like the first 5 holes are really techy and kind of almost fluky at times, but those kind of add some character to the course. And I think the whole middle and back stretch of the East course is really amazing. It's really good golf. Yep. Good like risk-reward balances, some par 4s you can kind of go for, some placement shots, some tunnel shots, a lot of really cool golf out there.
Was there any hole in particular, East or West, that stuck out to you as maybe your favorite hole on the course or the property, or like one that even maybe like stands out as you think back on your tournament, like I made a move there? Just, is there anything come to your mind?
There's quite a few that are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like close to 400 foot like straight shots, and that's one of my favorite shots in golf. Just seeing someone throw a straight shot that just pushes and doesn't need a lot of movement left or right. Seeing people execute those, like the little mound hole, I think it's 15
on East, right?
on East. Yeah, I think that's just a great golf hole. It's nothing crazy, nothing too out of the ordinary, but it's just really picturesque. Yep. And it rewards a great shot, and if you're off a little bit, you're going to have a really tough putt, possibility of rollaways. But there's quite a few like that. And then today is hole 10, the first island hole we played.
Yeah, the par 4.
Right. I think that one's really cool. Like I chose to attack that one today and tried to get it. I knew the leaders were quite a bit ahead, and if I wanted to have a chance at making a podium finish, I figured I needed all the 2s I can get. And the fact to have a tough par 4 like that that's still reachable is really cool. I like that kind of balance in a course.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if you saw this. Double G went 2-2 today on 9 and 10. I almost think that those would be cool as like finishing holes, like they could be, right? Absolutely. As like a big stretch. On East, hole 18 is it's almost like a techie woods hole to finish. A, I guess, do you like that as a finishing hole? And B, what is your ideal finishing hole?
I hadn't really thought about that before. I wouldn't say 18 East is an ideal finishing hole. It's it doesn't necessarily like set up to reward like a shot that you can draw up really easily. There's a couple options that can get birdies, but a lot of times it requires like a little bit of luck, or maybe just kind of giving it a chance and hoping it filters through. And I like to see a finishing hole that can like reward an aggressive, like powerful, good shot. And that's not exactly that one. I don't know what would be out here.
For me, no, I'm not even talking out here. For me, like an ideal finishing hole is from the tee, you can see the whole flight of the disc and the basket. It just feels like that's the way it should be on a finishing hole. Like a blind shot isn't awesome as a finisher. You know what I mean? You don't have that like satisfying feeling of parking it for the win or something like that.
Yeah.
Are there anything that come to mind as cool finishing holes, like just off the top of your head, like that we play?
I'm
thinking almost like Jonesboro, that par 4.
Yeah, Jonesboro.
Something like that. I guess you should make a move, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't thought too much about that, but I'm trying to think what some of my favorite finishing holes are.
MVP comes to mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to bring up a great memory for you or anything.
Yeah.
Speaking of the East Coast, though, we're getting to that point in the year, right? So we're going to start moving east. What's your next? I know you're doing Ledgestone, right?
Doing Ledgestone.
What's your next 2 to 4 weeks looking like?
This coming week, I'll be going up to Missoula, which is pretty exciting for me. That's like the town I started playing disc golf in back in the 90s. 1997 to 2000, my family lived in Missoula, and so I was between the ages of 7 and 10, and I was playing Blue Mountain back in the day with tone poles, and haven't been back in close to 20 years, so I'm really excited to see what kind of memories that triggers.
Yeah.
That should be a lot of fun to hang out up there for a week, and then Ledgestone for a week after that, and then be flying out shortly after Ledgestone to go to Europe. I'll be spending close to a month over in Europe.
Wow. And that's I'm not going to say it's your first time in Europe, but it's your first time at least even playing in Europe, right?
Yeah, both. It's first time to Europe and
cool.
playing. think that first week, myself and Nate Perkins will be running quite a few events, doing some clinics, just having a chance to meet a lot of people over there. And then got a couple weeks slightly up in the air, do a little bit of exploring, probably disc golf related, probably play a fair amount, and then really excited for the European Open in Finland later in June or in July.
Yeah, I know last year, we had talked about it, off camera about you had planned on going last year, but things just kind of fell through a little bit and it just didn't end up working out. Is this something you had like circled on your calendar from the off season, like from the start you were going to come out here or go out there, I guess?
Yeah, it was definitely something I wanted to make happen this year. It was in my mind the previous year, but I just kind of slacked on planning ahead. I kind of tend to plan things somewhat improv based, just kind of on the fly. And this year I definitely made an effort this past winter. Like, I think we picked up our plane tickets in December or so. So yeah, I was committed to going quite a while ago, and glad to make that happen.
No, absolutely. It's definitely on my bucket list, life, but just as a disc golf bucket list. Like to get over to Europe, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna have a chance to play Yarva before it's gone, which seems like a tragedy. Yeah, as a disc golfer. Are there what are you looking forward to most in Europe? Not disc golf though, like off the course.
I think food. I'm excited to eat good food in a lot of different places. That's one of my favorite things about being on tour here is just being able to eat the different cuisines, like in all the different places. Like Portland has a lot of great food. I've been enjoying it this week, and different like barbecue down in Texas or out in Kansas. Just seeing places specialties, and I think getting to experience a lot of food over in Europe is really exciting to me.
Cool. No, I
like food.
No, hey, who doesn't, man? One thing I want to ask you about before I get you out of here, though, you did have a couple of special people in your corner this weekend. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. My parents were out in Portland visiting a friend this weekend, and the trip worked out really well that they were able to visit a couple of their friends and come out for a couple of days and spectate today and yesterday. So, they've been huge supporters of me. My dad got me into it, like I was saying, over 20 years ago, and did a lot of like family road trips, going to tournaments growing up, and they've been a huge part of my disc golf, growing up, and have always supported me since going on tour. So it's really special to have them out and cheering me on, and it was fun to play really well with them here. I shot hot round yesterday with a 12 down with them out watching, and then today held it down on chase card, was able to take home fourth. I know they're proud of me, and it was fun to play well for them.
That's great, man. I was able to beat Mama and Papa Conrad, and I feel like that's like a check off the list. Like it's official. Like it's just been a cool moment. It was a cool moment, like kind of having them walk up. I didn't even realize it, and then I got introduced, and it's like, wow, it's like such a special moment. Having said that, though, is there anything you would like to say to your fans? I would say to your parents, but like they're like right over there, I think. Anything you want to say to anyone supporting you back home or across the globe?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you all for the support. I know I don't make the biggest efforts on social media to let you all know what you're doing, but luckily we got good people like Corey here that like to get me on camera, like to get me talking a little bit. And thank you y'all so much for buying my Tour Series AVRs. Thank you for following along with what I'm doing, and hope y'all are enjoying it as well.
Great, and I really appreciate your time, James. Seriously, it's always a pleasure to chat with you. I'm getting one of those signature discs, especially that new run. They got like funky colors, like a white one even.
Oh, yeah.
What do you got? What are you working with? Oh, what?
I actually just got these. I got a box of them Friday after the second round, and then just pretty much fell in love. I put one in the bag and started putting it all day Saturday. Shot 12 down with a brand new Tour Series AVR, and then today I think I putted 100% Circle 1X with this one. So I think they work.
Yeah, okay, so what you're saying is 100% C1X with one of these guys.
James Conrad Glow AVR.
Everybody go pick up your James Conrad Glow AVR when you get a chance. I know the SFDGC is obsessed with them. I imagine there's already several orders on their way now. But for all of you at home, if you'd like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out that interview. If you'd like to support me, check out patreon.com/JohnnyDiscGolf. And if you'd like to support my sponsors, check out Next Gen Tour. They are doing awesome things, and their championship is in Austin at Roy G. That is a sweet course. Also, check out Pro Pool, resistance bands designed to train for disc golf. Go ahead and Google them, check them out wherever you can.